Greetings, Algo Artisans. We're going to talk about Opulous token and PEPE. PEPE, we're just going to look at the charts, and Opulous, we're going to look a little bit deeper. We're going to start in the charts. We're going to start right now. Okay, so we're taking a look here at the Opulous token on the weekly chart. So this is going back to 2022, and this thing really did great in 2022 in the bull run. So if we zoom out, we can see that Opulous opened up. I mean, it hit MexC around 45 cents and went all the way up to $7.70. That's massive. I don't even know what that is. Is that like a times 15? Probably something like that. It's huge. Now, what ended up happening was, of course, the bear market price found its bottom at roughly 3 cents. That is a humongous deflation. And the 2023 low that I can see, not counting last January, was about 4.5 cents, and it has gone almost times 10 since then. So let me zoom in a little bit. We can take a look at what has happened basically this year in 2024. Now the 2024 bottom was at about 9 cents in February, and it has gone up quite a bit there. I think that's about a times 4.5 again to 38 cents, 40 cents. So just above a times 4. And we've seen a lot of pretty strong price action in the last, or the first few weeks of March. Then of course price did head down, but we get these massive wicks up with this token. You'll notice we get these big runs up, and a lot of times that can be just because of FOMO ending. It can also be people who are fat fingering entries. Usually it just means there's a lack of liquidity no matter what the case, right? So in this case, price has settled back down, and we did see a massive pump up in the past day or two, and I think that's why we have a lot of attention on this token right now, besides the fact that in a month it did go about a times 4 all through March. Just in the month of March, times 4. Beautiful coin, a lot of people watching it, and I think a lot of people are having that sort of, hey, this coin did well before, maybe it'll do well again. There's nothing wrong with that. That can be true to a degree, although I think a lot of it is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? People get excited, they buy the coin that made them a lot of money before, and to look at the price action here, it may be that it has found a local bottom. A lot of that is going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin over the next several weeks, right? If Bitcoin stays where it is in its current range, if we have time, we'll take a look at that today. But again, if it stays in that current range, if it stays above 60,000, then this might level out and even possibly head back up. And like I've been saying, if Bitcoin gets extremely slow, right? If Bitcoin, like the volatility falls off a cliff and it's not moving in price, it's keeping a very tight range, then what will probably happen is money will flow into the alts, if for no other reason, speculation. The crypto traders are very much excited to trade. They really want to trade. They're kind of hooked on it. So they're going to find the next coin that's doing well. And with Bitcoin being so stable, that would create a level of confidence that Bitcoin has found some type of price discovery, some type of equilibrium. And in such a case, a coin like this might be one of those to go regardless of its fundamentals. I do think though that price is either going to stay above 15 cents, or if Bitcoin does head down, or even if it doesn't, there is always that chance that price breaks below the current level and finds itself back in that late 2023, early 2024 range from 9 cents to 14 cents. And I think this lower range is not quite as likely. It might dip into there, but I think it'll probably pop back out. Again, it's just the stage of the bull market that we're in, and if Bitcoin dips down, this may dip down with it, and if Bitcoin pops up, then this might pop up with it, right? This is kind of just how the dance of altcoin and Bitcoin goes. So where might it go next? Like in, say, the next move up, where might price find a little resistance? Obviously, if we look to the past, price went way higher than it's been right now. $7.70 is massive, but if we look at the current market impulse, the one that happened in March, that times 4, the next levels to look at where price might find some resistance based on Fibonacci extensions alone would be about 46 and 56 cents, right? Those are the two areas based on a Fibonacci extension that price might go to. Now, we did see a pretty deep pullback to the 786, so these numbers up here might take a while to get to, or there might be some new price action that more or less invalidates those extensions. However, as it stands right now, that's where I would look. Now, for some higher levels where price might find some resistance, we can look where back in 2022, price tried to rally up and rejected, and that was at $1.07. I imagine price, if it made it up towards $1, it might reject before $1 because of the psychological logical aspect of that dollar, right? 98 cents or something like that. Another level would be just some more of these rejections on the way down from the last bull market. And, we're talking about some pretty out there numbers that we probably won't see for several months, probably. You never know, though. Bull market can really, really rally up. It really depends on the overall picture of the bull. However, we got about 240 and 410. So the numbers I'm looking at for the next resistance are 46, 56, about $1 just under, 240 and 410. Will it get there? Of course, nobody knows. However, let's take a look at this token and as far as what it's all about and whether or not this token has a chance at adoption. Of course, if this token is adopted, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry because Opulous is all about music. So here is Opulous's website. Good looking website. You got tokenized music assets. Okay, it's a $28 billion global music industry with a new layer of transparency through AI. That's what this is all about, is access to that. Now, their mission here, the traditional financing structures within the music industry are outdated and centralized. Opulous democratizes music financing while strengthening the artist-fan connection, creating more equitable and supportive music economy. We have here Opulous AI, a game-changing tool for artists, labels, and Opal holders to predict future royalties on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Now, that's pretty interesting. You got Opulous Finance, where music catalogs are one of the fastest growing real-world assets, and now they're tokenized and available to you through the blockchain. Great access to music catalogs, including artists such as BTS, Prince, Beyonce, and earn a 10% APY staking on USDC. Okay, so they do offer some yield, a little bit of yield farming. Music fungible tokens. You have collect Opulous tickets, where basically you can stake Opal. I don't know if this is Opulous or Opulous, forgive me. I'm saying Opulous because it's like opera, but it says stake your Opal tokens or complete simple tasks to get tickets that essentially get access to Opulous or Opulous products. So that's their website and all their kind of just offerings, if you will. Let's take a look at the tokenomics and what this coin might look like from a financial standpoint, because we have a $28 billion industry. We have right now, the market cap is $83 million or so. Now, actually, there is a bit of disparity. If you go over to CoinMarketCap, it says it's 53, but the diluted valuation is roughly the same on both of these websites, which is $91 million. Now, their token total supply is 500,000, circulating is 455. This is an older project, so it does seem that all the rest of the tokens have been released, and it's quite possible that some of them were burned or not. I wouldn't be too worried about any dumping, right? This project's old enough to where the teams probably sold all their tokens quite a while ago. All of that aside, let's move over to a Medium article. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this here. We're excited to present some exciting updates to the Opal token following our integration with Arbitrum. They're launching the RWA real world asset-backed DeFi products on Arbitrum. Very soon, we'll introduce our brand new platform, Opulous Finance, including the launch of our O-Loan and O-Vault pools. Okay, so they do, as we saw on the website, they do seem to have a propensity to want to go towards like yield farming, finance, stuff like that. So this is becoming a bit of a DeFi coin with real world assets being the music. And I know that I've talked to some people who were in the music industry. The centralization of music is perhaps outdated, but they do have a lot of power. That group has a lot of power as to what gets famous and what doesn't. So I would be excited for this, but I think that the landscape of music itself might have to change for something like this to get real adoption. There are those who argue it's already changing. I'm not saying that it can't happen or that it won't happen or that it hasn't already started. I'm just saying that there's a very big, deep sort of structure to the music business, right? There's a lot of, let's just say there's people who make a lot of decisions at a high level there. Now, Opal is listed on KuCoin, Gate, Huobi, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, LA Token, MexC, Global CoinEx Index, and some of the other larger names. Here's an article from a day ago. Opulous launches Opal staking on Arbitrum. Earn APY and receive Opulous tickets. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. The leaning towards, some DeFi, yield farming, stuff like that. And it just kind of tells you how to do that. Gives you the directions. You can choose any duration between 15 to 365 days. It says the reward percentage scales with the staking duration from a 1% reward for 15-day stake to a substantial 10% for full year commitment. It's competitive. The thing about yield farming, the higher the yield, usually the more risky an asset is. You have to always kind of take a look and see, okay, if this is unrealistic, then I have to be worried about it. But 10% APY over a year it's nice. It kind of makes me think, all right, these are, semi-realistic, which is actually a good sign. So they're not promising you the world. They're just giving you the opportunity to stake there and also earn the tickets to grab the more of these tokens in the future. So let's see what else they have real quick before we move on to PEPE. Okay, here is an airdrop, although I think it might be over by now, but this was on March 27th. It's an MFT airdrop. What I like is that they are keeping up. You're getting articles just in the past few days, past few weeks, things like that. Definitely a good sign that they are keeping up. And And that airdrop, the pump up in price probably had to do with that airdrop. I'm confident that that's the case. The good news is that they are pretty current with their news. They're keeping up with the blog, so that's a good thing. I do like the concept. Again, I do know some people in the music business that might poo-poo this because, they feel that the keys to the kingdom should not be in the people's hands, or they feel that the keys to the kingdom are not in the people's hands. It's not that they have a moral feeling about where they should be, they just have a realistic look at where they are. So it will be interesting. I would love to see the landscape of music change. I would really like to see that. I like to see some artists who might be producing music that might not otherwise get huge through something like this. So I'm rooting for you, Opulous. I'm rooting. Okay, let's move on to Pepe. Okay, so here's Pepe Coin. Just a quick review. You have a market cap of 3.4 billion. 30% of their tokens traded over the last 24 hours. Always a fair amount of volume on Pepe. So always good liquidity. Of course, you're at 1, 2, 3, so 5 zeros, 7469, down about 5% in the day. Let's take a look at Pepe on the charts and just see how it's doing and see if we can have a look at where it might go next. Okay, so nice bounce on Pepe. It looks like I had some liquidity laid out from a prior video here. What we do is we use a Fibonacci tool. We go from the bottom of this impulse to the top and we attach a Fibonacci retracement tool to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this and update it, take away some of the older data, and here it is. You have Pepe heading up. I'm going to take away these older liquidity boxes. Now our 618 is right here, and that's the golden ratio. That's where price usually dumps down to after a big move, or if there's a big retracement, it might pop back up to the 618 as a reaction to that retracement, right? So price came down to the 618, barely dipped below, rocketed back up, and then now is on the way back up. The real question is, will it continue in this direction? Will it stay above 475? To look at the algos, it definitely has a chance. I would say that price probably will range a bit. Now it's Pepe, so Pepe could actually continue up. It could just, it doesn't necessarily have to range. Pepe is a very popular token, but until Pepe breaks that recent high here at 1085, it may range, right? Instead of just going up, which it may very well, Pepe could actually range back and forth within this 618 to the of its prior top. So we can expect something like that, but at some point, sooner or later in this bull market, there's a good chance that it will pop up. And being that it's Pepe, I'd say sooner than later, especially if the bull market really takes off. I think the minute the bull market really takes off, you're going to see Pepe probably take off. For now, though, if I were in Pepe, what would I do? It's bullish on the high time frame, so I would be looking for longs. Let's jump to a lower time frame here. Okay, so price is definitely stalling out just a little bit from this move up from that 618, which was at this 475, and it's had a nice run up, but we do again have the all-time high with which we must contend up here. So it does appear that we might see a few different ranges for Pepe, right? And as of now, I don't think it's ready to pop above this level from some of the things I've seen in the algos. I don't think it's going to break 818. I think it may need to gather some steam before it does that. And that could look like anything. It could look like it comes down back to the 618 to get a new bottom and then breaks up. It could not even go that far. It might just range where it is for a while, right? And just kind of bounce back and forth below this 818 and then run up. It could do that too. So there's a lot of different possibilities. And this is on a this is on a 3-hour chart. So this is on a swing trade chart basically. And so there are some good opportunities. I would look for price to head down and maybe grab some lows, like maybe grab more if I were going to get some. And this is not investment advice. You got to make your own decision as it is with anything else. Or I should say, I might want to look at grabbing some down at this 475 level, or perhaps halfway down there at one of these peaks here on this move up where price headed up and then made its way back down. So any of these kind of structural levels built, price might find its way to those and grab liquidity. So anywhere around these levels, I might average into Pepe if I were interested. Quite frankly, I'm not because I don't like Pepe. I have other things going on, but that's where I would look to buy some, is there, maybe here, right? Any of those areas seem like a decent area for me if I were interested in swiping it up. So again, that's Pepe, and it's hard to say where it's going to go. You have a meme coin, it's Pepe. Like, there's not a whole lot that I can do to say, hey, this is the market cap and this is how big it's going to get. I mean, Pepe's just going to go where Pepe goes. So that said, that will bring us to the end of the show, and I do hope that everybody got some help from the show. Again, none of it's investment advice. I'll just make a quick mention about Bitcoin. The liquidity is super low right now, so it's going to range, and then when it stops ranging, the move might be actually pretty powerful. Right now, it seems as if 60,000 is being protected, so it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot happening with Bitcoin at the moment, and post-halving, usually price goes sideways for a while, so I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of Bitcoin, but again, there's only been a few halvings, so those data points are not that strong, and really anything can happen, and if it does, we'll talk to you about it right here on YouTube. Also, you can go over to algofactory.tech. Don't forget to trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.